Hey guys, and welcome to my 2018 detailed Fire Cape or Fight Caves guide. The reason I decided to revamp this guide is because I really wanted to make a better version than my older 2018 Fight Caves guide, as it didn't look very clean and looked rushed. So I hope you guys enjoy it and find it helpful. As for the requirements, 70 plus combat stats is recommended. You can do it with lower combat stats, as I've done so myself, but it is pretty tricky, and for a first timer I do recommend you have 70 plus stats. Of course you require 43 prayer because you need to pray melee, magic and range depending on how you're killing Jad at the final boss, which is Jad. In terms of useful stuff, the Blood Amulet of Fury is probably the most useful hybrid necklace. You make this necklace by combining a blood shard with an Amulet of Fury. You require 80 crafting to do this. You can also request assist another higher level player with 80 crafting so that you can create it even though you don't have 80 crafting. The reason this necklace is so useful is because it heals you every 15 seconds and does damage to monsters around you. It's kind of like a mid-tier soul split. Another useful thing to bring is a weapon poison ++ flask or potion, as the poison can boost your DPS in. Both of these auras cost around 20,000 loyalty points, and you can get them from Solomon's general store. Scrimshows can also be used there, but they're quite expensive. Curses are very useful but require 92 or 95 prayer depending on what curse you want to be using. Soul Split is 92 prayer, and the damage boosting curses like Turmoil, Torment and Anguish are 95 prayer. Overloads are also very useful, but I doubt anyone watching here has them, as they require 96 Herblore. As for useful abilities, the Corruption Shot and Blast are so useful here. It's pretty much a Corruption Bleed effect ability. It does cost around 12 mil, so if you do not have the money to spend, do not worry about it, but you can buy it by buying a Mazcap ability codex from the Grand Exchange and choosing one of the two abilities. Do keep in mind it requires either 70 ranged or 70 magic to unlock the ability. Ice Asylum is also a very useful ability as it heals you. You can unlock this ability by completing the Dig Site quest. Death Swiftness and Sunshine are both damage boosting abilities in a certain area, and you can unlock these by completing the Waltz Wakes quest. Devotion and Debilitate are also useful here, as they can reduce damage taken by either through your prayer with Devotion or with Debilitate on the monster you use it on for 7.8 seconds, and you unlock these abilities by killing Godor's Dungeon 1 bosses. There are many different setups for ranged magic and melee, but I will give you two examples for each combat style. As you see on screen to the left, there's a magic setup, using the Obsidian Cape, which is a good cape, a Amulet of Glory, Berserker Ring, which is also a hybrid ring like the Amulet of Glory, which is a hybrid amulet, Subjugation Armor, and a Crystal Staff. On the right, you see a higher tier setup, well, not say higher tier, but the Subjugation Armor is the same. A Blood Amulet of Fury, Berserker Ring, Staff of Light, which is a tier 75 staff, and the Slayer skill cape, or just a skill cape. Now if you have more money, obviously you want to use better gear, and if you have that gear already, just use it. A Armored Battle Staff is also a great option for magic, as it gives you unlimited air runes. As for the two melee setups, they're pretty much the same in terms of capes, and on the left the Amulet of Glory, and on the right the Blood Fury, but on the left I've chosen for a Crystal Halberd. Now this weapon can hit monsters up to 1 tile further away than a normal two-handed weapon, and is very useful. On the right I'm using a God Sword. Now if you want some free healing, you can buy the Saradomin God Sword, which has a special ability that can heal you. As for armor, just use Bandos. You can also use Torags or anything like that. You can even use Torva if you have the money and the skill requirements, but the best weapons to use here are definitely Crystal Halberds, Dragon Rider Lances, and a Noxious Scythe if you have it. But I doubt you do, as you're probably a lower level trying to kill Jad for the first time. As for two range setups, on the left you see a pretty low level setup using Royal Dragonhide, Warpriest, Gloves and Boots. Ignore the arrows in the slot by the way, therefore the Royal Crossbow, Crystal Bow, which does not require ammo, Obsidian Cape, Amulet of Glory. Now you could use a Black Salamander using Harlander Tar as well for tier 70, or Armor of Crossbows, it's all your choice. On the right, a bit higher level setup for Armadale, which is kind of expensive at the moment, Blood Fury, Berserker Ring, Royal Crossbow, a Skill Cape, and of course the Royal Bolts. Other than that, if you have higher tier weaponry and armor like Pernix, Noxious Longbow, please use that. I have two example inventories on screen. Now the inventory itself is really up to you, and it doesn't really matter that much what you bring, but if you want a general idea, look to the left for a lower level setup using the Sourdough and Brew flasks, which are a bit expensive, but heal you 1000 life points per sip, so 6k healing per potion, and of course these super restores at the top to bring your stats back up and your prayer back up once you've drank a sip of the Sourdough and Brew. Weapon poison plus, a shield to heal here and there with rejuvenate or resonance, a shark for quick healing, grand raging potions, super prayer renewal, and a grand defense potion. That's pretty much it. To the right we have a shark filled inventory with weapon poison plus potions, a lot of super prayer renewals, and a grand raging potion. And other than that, for a higher level play you don't really require that much except for prayer. So yeah, let's go on. Now if you do not know how to get to the starting area of the Fight Caves, teleport to Port Sarim, take the boat to the Karamja Island, go inside the volcano place and follow the video. Of course, if you already know how to get there, just skip through the video. Now there's one more thing I want to cover real quick. If you're a low level, safe spots might be useful. There are 2 in the Fight Caves. Now you're not exactly safe from everything, but you can have it so that you can safe spot the big melee guys, which I'll be talking about in a second, and most of the other monsters while only killing 1 at a time. The safe spot 1 on screen is the best to stand at, as it has a little hole in the side where you can hide in. Now if you're a higher level, you can just stand in the middle and tank the hits, and you do not require a safe spot. We will now be getting into the guide. Before you enter the Fight Caves, take a sip of an extra potion you have and put a full potion back in your inventory and get ready to start. Now on the first wave you will encounter a little bird monster thing that will drain your prayer by 10 every time it hits you. Every time you find these in the Fight Caves, you want to kill them as quickly as possible to save your prayer, as when multiple pile you, your prayer can be drained quite fast. On wave 3 you'll encounter your first small melee guy. They're quite easy to kill even with range with a lower tier weapon, and once you kill them they'll split into 2 smaller ones. Then kill these, and other than that they're pretty easy to kill, so we're moving on. On wave 7 you'll encounter your first ranger. They're quite easy to kill, but if you do not pray ranged or deflect ranged, they can hit quite hard. On wave 15 you'll encounter your first big melee guy. If you do not pray melee against these, they can hit pretty hard. Luckily you can safe spot them at both safe spots quite easily, as seen in the video. If you're a low level, this is very much recommended. On wave 31 you'll encounter your first big mage. These can hit very hard even if you're praying magic, and I suggest you always pray magic if you see one in a wave. If there's 2 in one wave, try to safe spot 1 using these safe spots. Now if you do not know what monsters spawn each wave, I'll leave a link in the description to the wiki and you can see what monsters spawn wave by wave if you're interested in that. Wave 62 is the last wave before the final boss Jad. You want to watch out with what you're doing. Kill the mage furthest away from the safe spot first. Then proceed by going to the safe spot and killing that mage. Then get ready for Jad to spawn, as he could spawn right behind you at the safe spot, where you're not safe from Jad. In my case, it did not happen. Now when killing Jad, I suggest you use the action bar to prayer switch. Put your ranged and magic prayers, or even melee for killing Jad with melee, on your action bar for easier switching. Then just hotkey bind them to a button. So when Jad rears up on his hind legs and shoots a fireball at you, you want to pray magic immediately to avoid the attack. The ranged attack is when Jad stomps the ground with his front feet and then a rock falls on top of you. You want to switch your prayers immediately when he stomps the ground. So you pot up and then you step out in front of Jad. Watch your prayers and keep prayer flicking. Eventually at around half HP the healers spawn. Don't panic, just target them, don't kill them, and let them aggro close to you and then move away from Jad. In my case, one got stuck behind a rock, which is nice. After you've got the healers on you, just DPS down Jad and you should be fine. And just for good measure, I'll leave 2 different Jad fights or Jad spawns in the description below. Both of the videos are unlisted, and one is with ranged, the one you're seeing on screen right now, and the other is with magic. Congratulations on your first fire cape. Hope you guys enjoy. Thanks for watching my Fight Caves guide for 2018. If you enjoyed it or found it helpful, a like would be very much appreciated. Now, if you're planning on doing the fight kill, click the video in the top left. If you want to know how to kill the Jad with melee, click the top right video. And I'll catch you guys later. Peace.